Alright. A little confusing, but I got it figured out. It's on my nipples are hard. I just stepped outside to pee. It's fucking cold out there. Alright, let me show you some pictures. So I had to remove, I don't know if you can see it, had to remove saddlebag on left side and the cover. Down here, I'm going to lean you a little bit forward. You should see my contraption holding the phone. Remove the main fuse here to 50 amp. You want to remove that. It's basically like disconnecting the battery. For me, there's no power going anywhere on this bike right now. That's a plus. Anytime you're messing with electrical, it's always good to unplug the battery. So I pull the main fuse. It does say that in here. It doesn't say disconnect the battery. It says pull the main fuse. Main fuse is located right here. Left side, where we pointed. You can see it right there. This is the main fuse. Bam, it's a big joker. So, in the picture, let's go to the picture. In the picture, tell me that doesn't look like a speaker. So that had me a little confused. I was like, I'm not taking this whole fairing off for this shit. I would. I really would. I'm a tough guy. Me, I'm not doing it. I'll figure out a way. Well, and then this picture. This is the left side. Main fuse right there. With that being said, says, see figure 4. Figure 4 is over here somewhere. Figure 4. Figure 1. Figure 3. Figure 4. Okay. Figure 4. So see figure 4, remove the inline fuse. That's the one that comes with the kit. Here, that is this. See this piece? Pull that fuse. They don't want you hooking this up and there's instantly power running through this when you've got to do some stuff here. Pull that fuse. Are you noticing the repetitive remove the fuses? I mean, seriously though, you hook that thing up, it's hot. Now it sparks off something. You hit a quick spark, that's all it takes to pop this little 10 amp fuse. Alright? Now you've put everything back together because you didn't blow the fuse. I'm okay. Whole bike's back together. You're ready to go. You hit that switch. Heart drops. Nothing's working. Now what are you going to do? Because you just watched this fantastic video. I mean, excellent quality here. You're going to know to check that fuse. But since you watched that video, you probably took the fuse out. That's right. But, you know, the guy just doing this, he's going to overlook. I don't need to pull the fuse. I've done it. I've been there. I've blown fuses. I used to do stereo work. I would blow more fuses. I set a car on fire once. It was my own car. My parents were pissed. They were like, how'd you set your car on fire, Sean? Stupid. Anyway, so remove your fuses. I'm going to go on and on about shit. This is going to be a long fucking video. I might have to make this like a 5-part video because nobody's going to sit through this thing for this 2 hours of me rambling about fuses. Number 2, locate P&A accessory connector. All right. That's in 325B. That's the first picture with the speaker I showed you. So I'm looking all over this thing thinking, I'm just going to be working on the left side. No. See, it doesn't really tell you remove left side cover, right side cover. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Remove your bags. Make sure that when you jack the bike up, so I jack my bike up. My bags are heavy. I carry tools. I carry lots of stuff. So when you pull those bags, your weight just changed. Now your bike will possibly tip off the jack. So keep that in mind. The best thing to do is lower your bike back down and take your bags off, jack it back up, make sure, do your shake test. You remember from the other video, I always do. You get about 4 inches off the ground, shake it down while holding the bike, just in case it falls. Leave the kickstand down. Don't be the jackass, kicks the kickstand up because I might hit my foot on it. No. Nobody wants to drop a $30,000 bike. So keep that in mind. Especially if you keep a lot of stuff. Now, if you're just a bar biker, which there's plenty of you out there, and I fucking hate you guys. You bought a $30,000 bike to ride to the bar, to smoke your Salems, drinking your IPAs, talking about, man, I'm going to do this 200-mile trip next week, and I get squirrel. Seeing my paint's missing from my seat. I need to get that leather cover that goes on there. Anyway, you know, then your bags are empty because all you have is beer caps in there from all your social drinking and probably empty cellophane. You have cellophane. Anyway, so this is actually right side, onto the right side cover. The fuse, let's get back there. Right there, that's your accessory plug. It's not a fuse, that's an accessory plug. So, remember the plug I showed you up on the dash? So I don't have to run wires. It's already pre-wired for this. So everything is back here near the battery. The only wiring I'm going to run is to tie in here from my lights. Everything is pre-plumbed on this bike. We'll be rocking a little bit. So there's not a whole lot of, I don't have to feed things up into the fairing. This is a really nice plug-and-play set. Remember, quality. Do quality work with quality parts. I've got to basically plug. This is the only place, and it gives you these, which I'm not going to use. I'm going to use the ones we talked about from Facebook. So, and then this thing. I'm going to hook this up. Ooh. So, not that big a deal. It gives you the zip ties, shows you where to put this stuff in the bike. This is nice. This is no fly-by-night bullshit. This is a nice set. I'm getting messages. So I'm buying a Pelican case. I'm not spending huge money on a tour pack. I'm going to buy a Pelican case. And I'm going to order the brackets from Amazon. Unlike me, because I don't like ordering stuff from the internet. So I'm going to do a tour pack out of a Pelican case because it's waterproof, dustproof. And it's just temporary. I'm never going to carry this thing except for on my long trips that I do twice a year. So, it may be ugly, but it gives me a place to put all them fucking stickers that I get along the way. I'll sticker that motherfucker up. Keep stickers off the bike. So, I got a guy message me. It's popping up here. Over here. I got a little icon. He wants me to meet him here in just a few minutes. So, let's get back to this. And see if we can't figure this out. So it's on this side of the bike. This is, notice the speaker? It doesn't look like a speaker anymore. But in the photo, it kind of did. This plug is here. This is the accessory plug. I've got to pull this plug out. Pull this cap here. And under this cap, see that white thing? That's third terminal. I've got to get that out of there and insert the new terminal from, remember on the fused piece, that's going to slide inside of there. So we're going to take this with us. Let's go to this side. So this is going to click in. This will feed up through here, right to the battery. See how easy this is? I'm going to keep you informed as I go along. It's really hard to hold the camera. So this piece, this is the plug. This goes inside of here. Right? To get that white piece out, doesn't pull out the back. It actually comes out the front. So to release, you got to use a little tiny screwdriver. Release here and here. And then it pops right out. So let's continue. Alright, so I got it plugged in over there, and I routed the wire under the frame. I'll move you over real quick and bring you back. So here, see where I put the wire? Pull the wire through. Alright, now we have to pull this and this. That uncovers the battery. What I'm using is the T30 This is Craftsman Professional. Just stick it in, unscrew. Alright, so let's get you set up over here again. Bam. And you can watch me work. I've been in here before. I think I mentioned in one of my last videos, I think it was my last video, that the battery was dead the other day. Reminds me of that damn TV show. Letterkenny, a friend of mine, posts things up from that show constantly. It's got a fucking thing on it. Oh, how to get it off. Ah, I know what it is. Panel. Can you see that? It just pops in this little cover. There's another one. Unplug those, makes it easy. Okay. This slides over a piece. There's my battery. See if I can get all this shit out of my way. I have panel pullers too. I don't know why I haven't gone to get them. Make sure everything's out of my way so I can pull this up. This just flips over here. Out of the fucking way. So we're going to tie that in. It's going to be a Phillips screwdriver. I have one. Let's do it. Phillips screwdriver. So here's the battery. I'm going to tie in here with the eyelet here. So maybe I can set you. No, the problem is, the angles are horrible. I really need a friend that can hold the fucking camera. That's what I need. But like I've mentioned multiple times, I don't like people that much. And to have a friend over here holding the camera, I would have to let somebody hang out. And I don't like the idea of that. I really don't like the idea of that. Because I like talking to you guys while I work. I don't need someone else talking in the background. I don't know, maybe that would change my viewers. Maybe you guys want me to interact with people. I like interacting with you. Hi. Ugh, got me all looking fat. You know why I'm looking fat? Because I'm fat. Alright. Got the bike rocking a little bit. Makes me a little nervous. Okay. We're going to cover the battery back up. Like that. Let this sit out here. Make sure I can get to my inline fuse here. Because that would bother me if I couldn't. And see how everything's going to sit. Okay. So pop that back out there. Let's see what's next on the list. I got tools everywhere. Alright, next on the list. I may have jumped ahead there. Route the ring terminal side of fused harness up to the frame member, across the front of the battery, and up to the positive terminal. by following the stock harness. Okay, that's what I did. Alright, remove the positive battery terminal bolt, install the ring, set the fuse to the position the fuse holder so it can be accessed. Do not install fuse now. Again, we don't want power just yet, because we still got to wire up lights. We don't want to take the chance of blowing fuses. Route auxiliary harness toward the front of the vehicle through the frame to the front of the battery area by following the stock harness. So, let me look into that. So I routed the big plug, the one that had multiple things. This goes up front, so I'm going to route that in the frame here. Alright, my relay sits here. This is a dust cover. Not 100% sure what that's for just yet. Maybe that's to tie in other things. Then the small plug went over here. Remember the ones I sent the power cable through that ran to the battery? It's going to plug into that. And then I fed this wire through here. This is the 4-way. It's going to plug in, too close, to this one, which mounts here. Alright, so if you look close, I just came through where other wires come through, right through here. I'm going to run it probably inside of this loop. I can do that while I have you. Might run it inside this loop. Let's see how it works. It's probably going to be the best way to run it to get me close to that wire harness. Alright, that got me inside of there. I'll remove the dust cover. This bullshit here. And it should slide right up in and lock. Mount right there. I'll pull slack back through. Should be good to go. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. But I'm going to run back through this real quick with you. So this was mounted here. This just slides into place. Like so. That mounts there. Factory main fuse. These are factory. It's the top one. Remove the dust cover. This plug, it's called the 4-way plug. The actual term is the 4-way Molex. M-O-L-E-X. 4-way Molex. That's going to plug in here. So this is the left-hand side of the bike under the side cover. Keep that in mind. This is part of the harness. This is what my lights are going to tie into. This is my relay. All this is in front of the battery. This is the ECM. Pretty sure that's ECM. Sits right on top of the battery. So when all that flips back down, I'll have a relay sitting here. This will sit right on top like these do. This is going to be routed. This will be routed along the frame to go to my lights. So when I run my wires for my lights, I'm going to come up here, jump into the frame, not inside the frame, just tucked up under the tank on right hand side over here, and tie into my wires. I got 10 feet of wire coiled, covered in black rubber for weatherproofing and all that. All of my connections, I'm going to have 2 connections here, 2 connections on the other side, and then tie in here. I should only tie into 1 wire. I've got to figure out the ground still for the lights. I'm probably going to find a ground on the bike, tie in there, but I should only plug into 1 wire here. It's 3 toggles, pretty sure. No, it's 2 toggles and a blank. So maybe one, it does have a black wire, so maybe that's my ground. And then I have 2 hot wires. That's seeming more realistic. That way I don't have to break out, do a tie-in. So I'll let you know as we go along. I've got to get a little bit further into the instructions. Again, this is, I've never done this before. I've never done any electronics on a Harley. Everything is self-taught with, just working with stereos and real basic. This is real basic plug and play. Like I said, I don't know what all these plugs do. I don't know the details of all that. I don't know the wire schematic. There's a lot of wiring in this bike. This isn't like the old simple bobbers I've built. So let's get to it. Now is the time that I'm going to start routing the wires. I'm not professional. I gotta do something about this. Thinking maybe meth, crack, all the good stuff. So I'm really worried about how it looks. Let's turn these so you can see what I'm doing. So I want to run these wires, and I thought about going down and then back up the frame, but this is my most direct route. I think I'm just going to run right behind it, pull that pretty tight. I don't know if you can, it's really hard for you to see at that distance, but basically I'm going to run the wire directly behind. So I need shrink that will fit over this so I can hide anything. I think this will be the correct size. Slide that over. You definitely want to pre-slide this. You know how many times that I've hooked wires together and forgot to put the shrink tape on? Oh my God. I feel so stupid when I do it too. Like this is not my first time doing this shit. But sometimes you just forget. And then you're putting the electrical tape on it. And that's ugly. It's not a good look. Gotta find my razor blade that I've set somewhere. I lose more fucking razor blades. You would usually I leave it sitting right on the edge. I got it. You have the razor blade over here. So you would think that I would own stock in razor blades. I use razor blades a lot. I don't even use cocaine. I wonder if the government watches my razor blade purchases, thinking, this motherfucker here. So the guy at Home Depot, I went to Lowe's, they didn't have it. There's a prick working there. And I've got a really good friend of mine that works at Lowe's, and she's awesome. Whenever I need anything, she will leave her section. Maybe it's because we're friends, but I'm pretty sure she does it for everybody. She's very helpful. But she finds what you need. She's very easy to get along with. And she loves her customers. I mean, she really loves her customers. But this fucking douchebag I dealt with yesterday, he was just a dick. It was like, you would have thought I was bothering him. I mean, motherfucker, you're at work. This is your job. This is your section. Like, he was mad that I pushed the help button. Motherfucker, go fuck yourself. You know what? That's what I say. Take a fucking long walk off a short pier. So you gotta be careful here. Let's go back. I go back about 3/4 of an inch. And you just walk the razor blade around. Twist the wire. Don't want to go too deep, because then you'll pierce your wires. You just want to get that coating off. Protective rubber. And there's paper inside. Paper's good. I leave the paper. Some don't. If it's too big, if the paper causes too much of a gap, then I'll remove the paper. Remember earlier, I said that I got something from Facebook. I can't pronounce Simnium. Alright, so these, it's a 70-piece set. I don't know how much it costs. My friend got it for me. She's really awesome. But So you put the wires in. You see the middle? When you heat that up, that's solder. It just solders the wire. You don't have to pinch them anymore. Pretty fucking fancy. I mean, that's some highfalutin shit right there. But you gotta make sure you get the right size. That was too small. Sure, it works perfect for that size. That's fucking huge. And that fits. Okay, it's gonna be the red ones. Red it is. I have to peel this back a little bit further. I got a friend of mine. She says "further." I was like, you know, that's not a word, right? She said, "Shut the fuck up." Further. I used to say "further." I lived in Kentucky. And I moved here to Virginia. Amongst all these highfalutin folk, they made fun of me for saying "further." And for some reason I changed my ways. Because I didn't want to be made fun of. I say, fuck that shit now. Remain who you are. Don't let others decide who you become. I feel like that's some inspirational shit. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut the paper that I just told you that I usually leave. I'm afraid it's going to be too fat. I don't want a big knot in my wiring. I want to keep it as nice as possible. I'm going to use my super duper expensive wire strippers from Matco. $50 for strippers. You know how much money or how many dances I could get off a real stripper for that kind of money? 50 if you leave the stage. So we're gonna meet here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna run the wire up. I'm gonna meet on the right side of the bike. That's where I'm gonna do my join, where I'm bringing that side and this side together, because I don't want to do all that back here. I don't want to run two sets of wires. So we're going to do I'll call it a junction here where I can hide it. Up here by the, where the highway bars meet the frame. That's where I'm going to just join everything. Then I'm going to jump up in the main harness, which runs under the fuel tank. And I'm going to run all the way back to do my tie-in. Great thing about the instructions is it does tell you what color wire to tie into. Now this setup here is for 2 amps. So if your lighting or whatever you're hooking up exceeds 2 amps, you need to add another relay into the system. It says that directly in the instructions. So my lights are 0.4 amps each. So I'm safe. I'm real safe. Well, let me get my wires cut and see how these new ends work. I haven't used these things yet. I'm only watching the Facebook little video. If it doesn't work, I'll cut the shit out and use what I'm used to using. Alright, so let's do it. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for part 2 of this installation video. Again, the video ran a bit long. There's part 3 coming up where you get to see the finished product and hear a story about Harley being misleading. Also, these are the men's shirts. I know I have women modeling them, but they're great shirts. Give me a shout.